Hi, everyone. This is Becky Ishii, and I'm here joined with Terry Newberry, and we're doing our Rally to Director phone call. Today is Sunday, June 12th, I believe. So pretty excited to share this call. This is the second Sunday night call in June. And we asked you to do a few things over this last week. And the first thing we want to do tonight is to hear from you. So one of the things that we asked was for you to watch 3 videos on PCU and to share what you learned. So we'd love to hear from all of you. We have 2 speakers tonight as well, 2 top-tier speakers, and we're going to get to hear from them, but we'd like to hear from you first. So if you could introduce yourself and tell us one of the videos you watched and one of the things that you learned from it, or your best tip, that would be great. Who'd like to start?
I can start.
Great, thank you.
I'm Christina, and I'm on Kathy Driving Team Wendy. I watched the recruiting one because I'm trying to build my team, and I think part of what I'm working on is trying to talk to people without being salesy. And I watched some of the tag team videos too. I know they're not like PC University, but I thought those were kind of helpful too. They gave a lot of tips on it as well.
What's one of the things that you learned, Christina? What was your biggest takeaway from what you watched?
Probably like just reaching out to people no matter what, because I've always been shy about it, but just doing it and not being scared of it. I'm working on it.
Did you learn a couple phrases, or how do you approach people? Did you learn some words to use? I always found that helpful to me, if I could find a sentence or 2 that worked well.
Well, I started like saying like you could win a shopping spree, or like do it that kind of way to make it not just like book a party, because I think a lot of people are like, I don't really want to do all that. But if I'm like, hey, you get a shopping spree, then people have been more receptive. So I've been trying to use that lingo.
Okay, so that's working for you. Good, very good. Great. Okay, someone else want to share something that you heard on a video that's helpful for you? Thank you, Christina. Okay, if we don't have a lot of shares, it concerns me that maybe we didn't get some videos watched. So if
I'm just reading through my notes.
Holler out, Heather. Okay, share something there.
Oh, I did recruiting. I looked at one of the recruiting ones. I don't remember which one. About well, I did watch the Ellington Voice one that you said to do from our side. I watched all those. And then
did you hear great words from Ellington? Did you have a phrase or words that you heard from hers that you could adopt?
I don't know if it was hers or not, but one of the things that no, not from that one, no, but I have down that I wrote that when you focus on bookings, you get bookings. So like when I do my shop and share and stuff, I focus more on bookings versus the recruiting. So I need to switch that and focus more on the recruiting, and then I'll get recruits from there instead of just always getting bookings. Because I don't really have a hard time getting bookings. It's the recruiting thing. So
something I'm going to recommend, Heather, is that you put some key phrases on index cards.
Okay.
Place them around your workspace, maybe even on your dashboard. Now, not to distract you while you're driving. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe even on your kit, so when you open your trunk or your back hatch, I'm just saying take 10 index cards and write some recruiting phrases and poster them around where you'll be working. And just try, or reminders, even your focus, recruiting, or whatever it is, but take 10 index cards. And I'd really like to encourage you to try that this week to see if that can help you shift your focus towards recruiting rather than bookings, since you're getting the bookings, okay?
Right.
And that's not to say you can't have both. You could have both. Bookings.
Yeah. We want both, yes.
Make that shift, yes. Okay,
right.
Good share, thank you. How about one more from someone?
Hi, Becky, this is Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. I watched the Recruiting 101, and I set a goal for myself to make some new friends and to share the business with. but and one thought I took away from it was to always leave people with an interest in our product and make them have the desire to learn more about it.
Okay. Great. And did they give you some words to use to do that, to leave people with that interest and desire?
One of the things was, well, one of the things that I don't remember the words and stuff, but one of the things that they said to do would be like, if you go somewhere for a week or every week you go somewhere on the same day, people notice you. So when they start talking to you, they'll know that you're there. They know that, and you can tell them what you do. But I don't remember the words to use.
Well, here's what this reminds me of. Something that you brought up, Marilyn, reminds me to encourage everyone to not drive through life, but to really walk in. So let me paint a picture for you. How many of you have your favorite place that you get your drinks? Whether it's soft drinks, iced tea, coffee, whatever it is. Just raise your hand so I can see. You have some kind of favorite beverage, right? Okay. And you probably have a favorite place that you go to get that, right? So let me ask you this. Do you know much about the people that serve you there? In other words, could you tell me one or two things about their family? Are they married? Do they have children? How long have they been there? What other kind of jobs that they do? Would you be able to answer those questions about the people that serve you at, say, where you get your regular daily or every other day beverage?
No.
I don't see anyone. I see a couple people shaking their head no, but I don't see anyone shaking their head yes. So my point is that to not drive through life and to really make relationships with those people that you do see on a regular basis, even though they're not your close-knit friends, you can still have relationships with the people where you do business. And that's building relationships is what's going to change your contacts in your business. So if you can start to build relationships in everything you do, I heard Lisa Hendrickson share it once in a workshop that it was someone at Ohio State, someone big because she lives right there, but he said that he didn't realize how long he had gone through life, how many people he didn't really know that he knew. In other words, you know these people that you go to get your drinks, you know these people that you go, but you really don't know them. So once he realized how many people he knew that he really didn't know and made that shift, his life became very fulfilled. So I just want to encourage all of you to take that opportunity to build those relationships on a regular basis with people that you come into contact with. Dry cleaners, hairdressers, people where you get your beverages, drive-thrus, everything like that. Okay. So I just hear from a couple
and Becky, you know what, too?
Yes.
Along those same lines. So I have a show set up in July for my dentist office, and I had a show last week with someone, the office manager in my doctor's office, my primary care doctor's office. And so it's just a matter of them knowing you and you knowing them. And I take treats everywhere I go, too.
Good idea. Good.
I don't go every time, but like when the new products come out or a new recipe comes out or I feel like it's been a long time, I'll take treats in. And I want them to think of me as their pampered chef lady. And it often gets bookings. You get bookings just by building the relationship as much as anything. So Take treats. People love to see you come in with treats.
And they don't have to be extravagant, right?
Oh, no.
Treats.
Chocolate dip pretzels. I'll do easy stuff.
Nice. Good tip. Very good tip. Okay, so we have two speakers, and I want to keep our call to the 30 minutes that we promised. So we just recap some of those videos. If you didn't watch for free, I would highly recommend that. I also want to hear about any tips from using your Spiral Notebook for your contacts. We've asked 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week, so we can hear about that at the end. But without further ado, I want to introduce to you our first speaker is Tammy Lovely. And Tammy earned the Excellence Award in 2 categories. She earned it in both personal sales and recruiting. And been doing a lot of recruiting too on virtual shows. I noticed we had quite a few virtual shows posted, so I asked Tammy if she could share in particular about that, about recruiting through virtual shows. So you also might need to know that she did enough sales to earn Excellence Award in Sales twice. And she also did earn it in recruiting, as I mentioned. So let's turn it over to Tammy Lovely. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thanks. Okay, I do a lot of virtual, and those of you who know me know I've done live for years, and I still do many live, but I'm just finding that as business changes and my life changes, I've been offering different things. So one of the things I want to tell you about virtuals is when I first started doing them, I was just thinking, okay, I've got a bunch of people online, I can just throw a post up, they comment, they're going to see this product, I keep them looking. That's not the case. When you go to your live shows, do you just show up and cook whatever? I decided to run my virtuals very much like my lives. So I plan things out. My posts, like with a live show, you're planning out your recipes to suit what your special is for recruiting, the month that you're recruiting for, or what your specials are for booking. So I do the same thing. So I do put a lot of thought into those, but I also do the same thing with a live as I do a virtual. I start with my host, and I let her know that during a virtual, I always, and I stress always, at every single solitary virtual show, they may not sign up right then, but I have yet to have a virtual party where someone has not been interested and asked for more information on being a consultant. So I tell my hostess those statistics, and I say, someone on this party will want to be a consultant. I would love to give you that opportunity to be the first one. So just, something to think about. And when I send my hostess pack, I try to remember it's a virtual party. 9 times out of 10, your hostess wants to be contacted virtually. That's how you found her, right? So I'm going to send her 2 catalogs, one for her to flip through and pick out her stuff, and one because she's probably going to have people that say, oh, I live right next door, can you bring me a catalog? And I'm also going to send her the recruiting little brochure, and I put one other item in there, and that's it, and it is my Kit credit coupon, because that's a big one for virtuals especially. And I send her all that, and I'll say, hey, did you get those catalogs? Great, awesome. Okay, so there's a credit coupon in there. I want you to be thinking about that during the virtual, and I want you to see how much fun we're going to have. We're going to be a team, and I keep host coaching extremely easy for her. It's just quick little chats. I'm not making a list of to-dos, because you have to remember, they're doing a virtual party because they probably don't live close by, more than likely, but they are also probably very busy. And they're not going to read a big to-do list. So I'm going to come in and spurts daily and say, oh my gosh, we just got an order from Susie. That's so exciting. You're at this. And okay, so keep it easy, keep it duplicatable. See, I'm saying pretty much the same things you're going to do for a live show, you're going to do for a virtual. And the other thing is with your hostesses, when I get my first booking, and I will, you're going to make sure that you say to your hostess, okay, Jen just booked. So Becky, I'm gonna offer that to you right now. That's a booking that you can have. Something to think about, but I do have one booking, and I'm going to be scheduling her date with her in the next couple of days. So if you're thinking about doing this, just let me know. Joyce is signing up tomorrow, one of my virtuals, and she's so excited because, and one of the things I told her was, she was iffy. And I said, Joyce, let me ask you a question. I said, are you going to be attending those 3 shows that booked from you? Yes. Are you going to order something at each show? Yes. Well, just a thought, but what if you got your kit, spent the money on your kit, and then still attended the shows but made the paycheck instead? And she says, oh, you're good. I mean, you've all heard that. I'm not the one that came up with that. But you got to remember, if you're not thinking with that mindset, you're thinking of just filling your calendar, you're not going to offer that to your hostess. So Joyce is signing, and she's very excited to have those 3 shows, okay? So another thing that I put out there to my guests, okay? So we got the hostess. You're talking to your hostess throughout. You're showing her different things. Some of my last posts after I know my hostess is going to sign is, I just made a believer out of someone else. So who's going to be your first party? And it's a fun post and everybody gets excited. And then all of a sudden she gets these parties lined up. So my guests, what I do is I tell my guests, I'll say, okay, so I know you're interested in booking a show. I'm really excited about that, but let me just tell you, you've been asking tons of questions on the party. You're really participating. You're very active. And one of the things I'm noticing is that you're asking me questions about the business. Since we're hosting your show anyway, can I make that your launch party? And then she asked me what her launch party is. And I'll say, well, here's the deal. The launch party, because I don't do live launch parties, but virtuals, I'm already doing like 6 a week anyway, so I just throw hers in there. It's not any more work for me. So I do my launch parties virtuals, always. It gets them qualified, right, like that. So anyway, I'll tell her, I'll say, you're having a virtual party, so let's go ahead and make it a launch party. And she asked me what it is, and I'll tell her, well, basically, I'm doing the party for you, with you. It's perfect training. You're going to see everything I do. I'm going to walk you through. We're going to talk through the back door here, and I'm going to tell you what every post is about, and that's how you're going to learn. We're going to have a chat going the whole time. And you're going to be able to get training, get the paycheck, and get all the host bonuses. So you can do that way, or you can host the show and just get the free stuff. Which one do you want to take? And that's the one they want to take. So that's been a huge, huge thing, offering that. Now, when I mentioned, I know I only got a couple minutes, so I did want to talk to you. Do a door prize flip. Always do a door prize flip. Don't do it on the last day. If you're doing, I don't do 1 hour parties anymore. If a live party cancels at the last minute, I'll do a happy hour party. That's it. But otherwise, I do over a week at least, because you need time to build relationships. 1 hour party, boom, it's done. They're done. You told them it was an hour. So anyways, I always do door price slips, and I don't do them on the last day because you know what? Sometimes they're like, okay, I placed my order, I'm done, and they're dropping off. So I do them after, on my 4th day. Oh, I hope my husband gets that. On my 4th day, Ryan, get the phone. I do Ask Me Anything, and then the 5th day is the door price slip. Always after the Ask Me Anything post, because on the Ask Me Anything post, I am working that. And by the time I'm done, somebody's going to sign from that. So the 5th day is door prize. And they're going to get a prize. I'm going to draw a winner. Okay. Usually I always get some interest from the door prize slips. That really shows me who's interested. The Ask Me Anything post is very, very important. And I realized early on in my career that some of my consultants weren't using that post because they were scared. And I'd say, how is that Ask Me Anything post going? I didn't post that because I don't know what to tell them. So now I tell all my consultants to tag me in that post. Yes, my phone is going crazy, but it takes me 2 seconds to answer it. So all my consultants tag me in that post. Risa, who's not on the call tonight, tags me in all of her posts. Risa's going to be a team leader in her first 40 days. So anyway, when they tag me, that's how we're recruiting, because I'm showing them the words I say. And I'll say, oh my gosh, Risa, that's absolutely correct. I'm so excited. And I'll add to her answer, because if they're brand new, they may not know what to say, but they hear me say the words. So the Ask Me Anything post, I also do pictures. And here's a good tip that you need to know. There's a million tips I could teach you guys, but this one's really important. Don't hit reply to a comment, because then usually just that person saw it. You are at a live show. Pretend you're at a live show and you want the whole audience to see it. So you're going to wait till about 5 or 6 comments down. Then you're going to open up a new comment, not a reply, and you're going to say, Becky, is she? Tag you. I am so excited about that question. It's the perfect question, or that's a great question, Becky. And here is a paycheck from one of my friends who just does virtual parties or just does live parties, and this is her first month paycheck, and I show a picture of an actual paycheck. And what that did was that guaranteed that all 5 or 6 of those comments before, every single one of them got the notification and see that paycheck, not just the one I hit reply on. And that was a big wow moment for me on my parties, because I was doing it the other way. And now everybody sees that, and then it's like a whole stream of questions. So be very interactive in your parties. And I think that being behind a computer screen allows you to talk a little more. One of the things I notice if I'm scrolling through my consultants' parties and I'll say, hey, Sue, how about you Zoom with me and I'll take you through one of my parties. And I'll get on my party and Zoom her through how I run the posts. Because I might see that she's not interacting. So it's much like you're not going to ignore your guests when they come into your living room, and I tell my hostess that. So please be involved in the party because I'm going to be too. If I was at your house hosting or consulting a party for you, neither one of us would ignore our guests. So we're not going to do it at the party either. And we have a lot of fun with it. The last couple things I said, oh, the other one was the roll call. I always do a roll call on my party, and I use that. I go back to that every single day. Roll call asks what their favorite products are and how they know the host. That's like when you're at a live party and you introduce yourself when you walk in the door, when they walk in the door. You're all set up, you got that done, you don't have your head down cooking. You walk in the door and you get to know them. That's very important, and that's just as important during a virtual. I do roll call, and how I come back to that over and over is Sarah, for instance, said, oh my gosh, I got the Rock Crop Grillstone at my party. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to use it. I wait till a few more people comment, and then I go down and I say, Sarah, I love that one too. Have you cooked this on it? Show a picture. I can't wait because my July hosts get that for $32 when they host. And then I'll come back to it later and say, better yet, Sarah, we've been chit-chatting back and forth. When you join my team, you can get 200 PC. You just keep using those, but I don't answer them all in one. I don't comment on them all in one day. I come back to them and use them all throughout the entire party, and that draws people back in. So I was kind of excited yesterday. I was telling my husband, I got on my messenger, and I had always check your other messages. That's another important thing. I always have at least 5 or 6 a day from people that if they're not your friends, it doesn't go to Messenger, and you lose a lot of customers that way. So I got on there, and a lady told me she attends a ton of parties, and she couldn't pull herself away from mine because I was so interactive with the guests, and she was having so much fun. And that's the kind of party you want to have, and that's what is going to get them giving referrals and bringing you back. These notebooks are my life right here. I am running 10 parties right now. 2 close tomorrow, 6 close Tuesday, and 2 close Wednesday, and then I'm on vacation. But I can't keep track of everybody who wins a door prize slip, everybody who's interested, and all the leads. So this is my customer care, and I list the parties and who I'm talking to. This is my red one, red for director. This is everybody in every party that's interested in signing. And my calendar. And I keep track of parties closing and opening and stuff. So you just have to, it sounds like a lot of work, but I am going to tell you guys, I schedule times that I'm checking parties. It takes me, for 10 parties, I can scroll through the posts, make a quick comment, they're all in my folder, and I can do that in about 20 minutes. I'm going to do morning, afternoon, and evening, and that's it. Because if I'm sitting on those all day long, my job is not duplicatable.
Thank you, Tammy.
Okay.
Yay.
I'm sorry I talk so fast.
I just have 2 clarifications. So all those communications with the customer are private messages?
No.
Joining and recruiting, are those private messages mostly?
Well, that's hard, Becky, because if they're not friends with you, it is going to their other folder. And if they're not like a consultant, they're not thinking to check it. So what I found was if I'm seeing, like, for instance, a girl from Indiana on one of my parties today, she just went back to this post that was 3 days old of the aprons. And I said, and I don't just want people to comment if they like the aprons, if they're thinking about them, because I want people who are shy to comment. So I said, even if you've never thought about the aprons, which one would you throw it out there. Which one do you like the best? And that gets comments. Well, she went back 3 days to find that, and she commented on the apron. And I was like, so I just kind of commented underneath, and I said, hey, Jasmine, are you interested in me sending you a flyer? Oh, yes. I said, okay, check your messages. I'm going to go ahead and send that.
Okay.
And that's how I do it.
Okay, great. And so, Terry, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you again, Tammy. It was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing everything.
You're welcome. I am teaching a workshop, so if anybody wants to join the workshop at conference.
Well, be awesome. It'll be great. Terry, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Tammy. That was awesome. So we also want to, of course, learn to do the best job we can do at recruiting at your live cooking shows and your parties. And that too also, requires relationship building. And it also requires a focus, which we kind of talked about last week and even earlier tonight, someone mentioned it. So you go into your party and you have a focus, and you maybe have to give yourself a pep talk in the car, like Becky said, put notes. There is a new consultant at every party. There is a recruit at every party, as there a recruiter at every party. Just something like that to remind yourself. But when you get there, if you kind of talk off the cuff, or you go by the vibes in the room, you may never recruit anyone else again, ever. Because you have to have a plan. You have to talk about it as enthusiastically as you talk about your favorite product, right? So if I were to pick up, if I were to pick up a manual food processor and just expect it to sell itself, it wouldn't. I would be focused about talking about it. I would talk about the items that I like to use it with. Well, the same thing about recruiting. If you don't talk about it in a very passionate way, then you're not going to get much interest. So I asked Wendy Penn, who, Wendy is I'm sorry, my phone, I'm sorry, I'm trying to ignore it and turn it off. I'm sorry. So Wendy is an Excellence Award achiever in sales, and she earned way over. She's not a minimum kind of gal. She's recruited at least, on average, 2 people a month this year. So she's on target this year for recruiting as well as sales. And Wendy, I know you are a very consistent recruiter on our team. Can you share with everyone how you go about focusing on it at your parties, what you do? Just give everybody maybe even the words that you use at your actual parties in order to offer the opportunity.
Sure, absolutely. I will tell you, though, the way I've done recruiting at my shows, I've changed over the years. And that's the great thing about this business, is if you don't feel something's working, you can always change. And so this is actually what I am currently doing now. I've done things in the past like the Y bag. I've done the ticket game. I played poker. So this is currently what I'm doing right now. So when at my shows, I will introduce myself, have the guests introduce themselves, thank the host, tell her what she's going to get as being the host, kind of just to give a little plug for booking a show. And then I always say, I just do this very briefly in the beginning, is I just say, this February I celebrated 21 years with Pampered Chef. And usually everybody goes, oh, and I'm like, I know, really, I started when I was 12. And I said, I am just as excited today about my business as I was 21 years ago. It really, truly has been a blessing to me and my family. So then after I say that, we talk about what we're going to do during the shows. They go off and do their station. I do station style shows. They go off and do their station styles. And then we all meet back up and we do a shop and share, and we talk about that. And then after they've done the shop and share, this is the part where, I just put it out there. I just say, okay, you guys, this is the commercial part. I know you're not shocked that I'm going to ask you to have a show, so I just need a little bit more of your attention. And at that point, then I go through my booking commercial talk. And at the end of my booking commercial talk, I always talk about how the host can use the host dollars and buy down the cost of the kit. And then at that point is when I say but it's starting your own business is not only for our hosts. Everybody starts for a different reason. You can either whether you're looking to pay off something, maybe you want to pay off debt, you can be looking to save up for something. Maybe you want to go on vacation. Maybe you're looking to put in a pool or do some remodeling, or maybe you just need to add some to the family budget. Well, what I found is people have questions about my business. And what we're going to do is a quick little activity here. I have 5 recipe cards. And what these 5 recipe cards represent, and I'm constantly flipping through them, I say, well, these 5 recipe cards represent are 5 questions about my business. Now, in order to get one of these recipe cards, you have to ask me a question about my business. If you ask me a product question, I'll answer it, but you don't get the recipe card. It has to be about my business. And I say, you ask me the question, I'll hand you the card, you pick which one you want, and hand me the rest back, and we'll move on to the next person. Now, there's only one question you can't ask me. And what do you think most people say?
How much do you make?
Exactly. And I say, no, it's how old I am. And I already gave you a hint on how old I am at the beginning. So because the reason I say that is for some reason people are afraid to ask you how much money you make or how much you can make at this business. And that's the question I really want them to ask me. So I said, okay, who has the first question? And usually somebody will, you know, and it's the most common question. They'll ask me things like, you know, how much money you make. They'll ask me things like, what kind of training do you get? You know, what's my favorite thing about having my own business? What's the biggest benefit I've seen? But, you know, my number one thing is I want them to ask me how much it takes to get started. Now, some of the things that could happen is maybe nobody asks you questions. It could be that it's really quiet and nobody asks a question. It's because for some reason they're afraid to get started. See, at that point, then I'll lean over to somebody and I'll whisper. I'll go like this. I'll pretend like nobody else can hear me. And I'll lean over and I'll say, Becky, ask me what kind of incentives they are. Or Becky, ask me how much the kit costs. And then they'll ask me that question and I'll say, oh my gosh, that is the best question ever. And people start laughing and then they'll ask, and then it gets people started asking the questions. So what happens though is I do want them to ask me how much it costs to get started. So if nobody does ask me the questions, let's say all the recipe cards are gone, nobody asks me that question, I will just automatically go over it. I'll ask them to turn to the second to the last page, page 63 in the catalog, and you see that we have 2 different size kits. We have a $159 kit and a $99 kit. And I'll go over how much each one is, the value of each one. I said, you know, it doesn't matter which one you start with. Both of them are going to get you off to a great business. It just depends on what's going to fit into your budget. You know, getting started with the Pampered Chef is easy as ordering your kit. That's all you really have to do. All we do is ask that you give it a try. You know, when our kids come to us and say to us, hey, Mom, I want to try soccer, we don't look at them and say, you know what, don't. You're going to be terrible at it. No, we tell them, you know what, go for it. Try it out. See if you really like it. But you know what, we never tell ourselves that. So you know what, just give it a try, because the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you decide that you don't like it. You do a couple shows, you decide it's not for you. You have a kitchen full of great tools. You've got the cost of your kit back and you have money in your pocket. But what you could find out is, like I did, that this is actually the perfect fit for you and you have a wonderful business. All right. And so basically that's what I say during my recruiting talk. I do hand out the prize drawing slips, but I call them customer care cards. And because I've given out recipe cards, I consider this my prize. And so I go through it, I have them fill it all the way out, and I ask them, you know, this customer care card is for me to help you with whatever your Pampered Chef needs are. And so I go through about booking a show. I say, and it asks you if you're interested in more information about the business. And that could be either for you or for somebody you know. And you know what, just because you say that that you're interested in the business, that doesn't mean you're signing up right now. What that means is, Wendy, buy me a cup of coffee. I have some questions. That's what that means. And so I have them fill that out and I do collect them all up. So one of the things I do is I do a full service checkout with everybody. All right. No matter if they placed an order or not, I ask everybody the same 3 questions. I ask them about hosting a show. I ask them, is there anything about the business opportunity that interests you, either for yourself or for somebody else? And I ask them if they'd like to get a copy of my newsletter. All right, I have not looked at the prize drawing slips at this time or the customer care cards at this time. I want to ask everybody. I don't prejudge with anybody. I mean, I don't care if you come in wearing dripping diamonds and driving whatever, I'm going to ask you because we never know who's going to need this business. All right. I just wish they came with a little neon sign on their forehead that says, ask me, because we don't really truly know. So I do ask everyone. And then what I always do is if somebody says to me, you know what, yeah, I'd like some additional information, I do give them a little something to take home with me. This is that Taste of the Good Life. And this is actually something that you can find online. And it is the New Consultants Reward. It talks about, this is actually the one I wanted to get them on there, is New Consultants Reward Program. I want them to see what they could get if when they start with the business, earning Pampered Chef dollars. Just give them some examples. And then I do set up an appointment with them. Like for tomorrow, I have an appointment at like 5:45 to meet at Panera's to talk to somebody about the business opportunity. So I try and meet with them in person. That is just the way I like to do it. I like to see their body language, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And so we do it over the phone, or we always invite them to our team meetings, or we do a virtual, oh, help me out, Desiree, Christina, what do we call it? A take a look or something? Our virtual take a look at the business. I can't remember what it's called right now. So anyway, so that's basically what I do, but I'm very, very, I mean, I don't care if I have 15 people in the room or if I have 2 people in the room. I do the booking and recruiting commercial at the end of every single show. And I ask every single person about that. So that's what I do.
Excellent. Thank you, Wendy. Does anybody have questions for Wendy? Oh, somebody's talking. Hold on. Unmute. I'm sorry, Heather. Start over again. We couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. One of the things she said is she asked everybody who, even if they don't order. So how do you approach the person that did not order? I do it, but I want to see how somebody else does it.
Oh, okay, sure, absolutely. So a lot of times what happens is, you know, somebody comes to my show, Desiree's at my show, and she says, you know, Wendy, I'm not going to place an order right now. I really want some time to go home and look over my catalog. And I said, you know what, that's okay, Desiree. We're not going to close the party till this day. But you know what? I always like to ask everybody 3 specific questions. So, and then I just go ahead and ask her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
what if they don't really actually catch everybody? What's that?
If they don't come up to you at all, you know, they just kind of, they're hanging back and you don't, you know, they don't want to say they're not going to order or whatever, but they don't actually give you an order.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what you could do is like call them the next day. Mm-hmm. Is like do what we used to call them Big Mac calls, morning after calls. So you can call them the next day and ask them the same 3 questions. Just say, I would just say to them, you know, hey, Cindy, I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to connect right after the show. You know, I didn't get an opportunity to offer you the business opportunity or offer you the opportunity to have your own show with the Pampered Chef.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Oh.
What is a shop and share? Okay. Well, shop and share is after everybody comes back, you know. Okay, so the way I run my station style shows is everybody after they finish making the recipe, they grab a dish, they come back to whatever designated area we've had, and then I'll always say, for example, okay, everybody who is at the chicken station, chicken people, tell us what you used and what did you want everybody else to know about. So I have them talk to everybody else about the tools they used and why they would want them in their kitchen. Okay.
Good question. Any other question? Okay, thank you, Wendy. Yay! Everybody give a hand. Excellent. Good job. No wonder you're such a consistent recruiter. And, you know, I know that it's hard when you're just saying what you say and I say this and I say that, but I have been to one of Wendy's parties before and people love her, and she's warm and she's approachable and there's a lot of interaction. And so, you know, when she makes jokes and people, you know, when you do the exaggerated whisper to get the question started, or if there's a lull, it works so well. And Wendy, you're really good at that. And it's just the exaggerated whisper. Someone jumps in every time and is giggling. So that's awesome. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're almost out of time here. We do have a call next week. And and I know several of you, or at least 2 of you, will not be with us next week. You'll be in the Bahamas at Atlantis, so y'all have fun. I know Becky and Tammy will both be there next week. Anybody else? Okay, so y'all have a great time. We will manage without you, and we will record it so you can see it. Becky, do you want to tell everyone their homework for the week?
Okay, I'd be glad to. And Tammy and Wendy both, thank you so much. You both made me want to start over as a new consultant with each of you. So thank you so much. I know that we wouldn't do that, but anyway, you both are so passionate that it made me want to jump in and restart again. So, okay, so here I'm really going, some of these should sound familiar. In fact, most of them should, but I'd really like for you to take 3 PCU classes. So either take a class or watch videos or both, but 3 things done on PCU. Okay, a class, you should really take the recruiting class, would be good, and then watch a couple videos. That would count as 3. Okay, so I say 3 classes, at least 1 class and a couple other videos. We really want you to continue with the 5 contacts a day, at least 5 days a week. Now, if that's not possible, we know that 5 times 5 is 25. So if you at least get 25 contacts in, say in 2 or 3 days, then we'll be thrilled. So, you know, we just at least the average of the 5 contacts 5 days a week. We're also at the start asked for a really target of 2 shows a week. So there's still 3 weeks in, 2.5 weeks in June. We'd really like for you to do that. So you might challenge yourself, if you don't have the live shows this week, to go ahead and add a virtual show. Now that you've heard all about those, you could have them work for 5, work for the week and be posting on those. So the 2 shows a week is the target. And then last week I mentioned it at the end, and I'm going to mention it again. I really encourage you to do 3 practice interviews. So Wendy said she meets the person for coffee or meets them face-to-face. Tammy's doing a virtual meeting with them. You can do it on Zoom like this, face-to-face, if you're not near each other. Try it with a friend or a family member, a relative, not your spouse, because you're not going to be able to sign them up. But I think you'll find that if you do a relative or a friend, you say, hey, can I practice this interview with you? That they might start to think of it for themselves or someone they know. So we really need you to do 3 practice real interviews. And there's a PCU course on that, so I'm not going to do it here, but there are the interview cards. They're very easy. I touched on it a little bit last week virtually when we were on the website, and I was showing you what interests you, and you can pick, or where do you have questions, and you can pick an area and touch it, and that part flips. So those are not the actual little cards, but those suffice. I mean, you could work through an interview, because really, honestly, what I want you to remember about an interview is it's nothing more than finding out what interested them to give this a try or to meet with you or to discuss it, and showing how Pampered Chef fits that need. That's it. It's their need or interest, and how Pampered Chef can fit that need or interest, and are we ready to give it a try? You're going to have so many benefits. That's it. Don't start going off on all these tangents. Hit with what's important to them. Okay? So those are the same things. Nothing different. We want to keep doing the income-producing activities that will get you where you want to go. We know that you can still sign up for conference. It's only $250, the best amount of money you'll ever spend, and for your business. And when you sign new consultants, they can still register for the $200. So get a couple people signed up this week and get them registered right away so they can go for the $200. Okay, Terry, anything else?
Nope, I think that's good. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Great.
Good luck, everybody.
Have a great week.
Bye. Thank you.
Make it a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.